You're welcome along to the Maroon and White pod. This evening we're here to look ahead to Tynagh-Abbey Duniry's All-Ireland Intermediate final clash with Watergrasshill of Cork this Sunday in Croke Park. A huge occasion for Tynagh-Abbey Duniry to look forward to, and we wish best of luck to the management and players this weekend heading up to Croke Park, and the supporters as well to enjoy the occasion. I'm joined by Cyril Farrell to look ahead to the game. Cyril, it's special when you have a club involved in Croke Park, and very special for the Tynagh-Abbey Duniry community heading up to Croke Park this
Hi.
weekend.
It's very special. Like, and the big thing is, Paul, is everyone can get into Croke Park, kids and all, school kids that have buses going up. Hopefully, the weather picks up. And like, even though they're going into the game, Paul, as outsiders, the bookies have Watergrass Hill 5-2 on. But I really think Tina can win this because since the start of the campaign, going from last year, they were beaten by Ballindreen in the final last year. They thought to win that, but they've been building up steady the all year. They have a kind of a style of play. They're all used to playing it. They know what they're at. And to me, they're coming right at the right time.
From a Galway perspective, it's special. We haven't had anyone there since Ormore Mary, so it obviously has been quite a while.
Yeah, or Mary were fit enough to win and come up and see it. I think Tina are the same in the sense that, Paul, they're not really an intermediate team, if you know what I mean. They're steady, they're settled. They have the good few young lads coming through, and they have this, we call them the season, the more mature players on it. But they're well organised, and they're in a final now. Didn't learn much in the semi-final, but that's not their fault. But one good, only an hour away from winning All Ireland, which is a great achievement for any club, and it's been a big achievement for Tynagh-Abbey Duniry.
Sunday at half two, they're coming up obviously against Watergrass Hill of Cork, who've looked quite impressive as well. But for Tina heading into this one, college final, maybe people were looking at Turin because they were the dominant force, but they came through that one. And even before the Rathnure game, there was a lot of talk that Rathnure were fancied, but particularly in those last two games, aside from the red cards and everything, they still came through that All Ireland semi final, and they're two games that'll have to stand to them heading into this one.
Yeah, and they've settled on their team. Like Brendan Lynch is going well in goals. Can give you a little heart attack at times. Good keeper. Gary McHugh wheeling and young Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick now with his seven in his back. We play cornerback. Going well enough. They're kind of under pressure, but yet they're getting away all the time with it. Jordan and Maloney, Kevin are going well on the two wings, and you have Michal Powers gone back playing deep centre back because you have Paul Killian around the middle and he goes back there as well. They're kind of protecting the full back then, but they're good at it. And then up front, you probably have Pádraig Breheny playing the hurling of his life. He's been picked corner forward, but he's kind of come around in a loop 40 years out doing a terrible lot of good things at the ball. You have Niall Maloney, John Conroy playing very well. Maloney picking scores. Young Jordan going well. John Dervin's having a good campaign. They're actually coming right at the right time, and they're playing through a pattern. Now the only thing is Watergrass. He'll probably have to study, but they know what they're at, and they're playing to a set pattern every day now. In the last three games I've seen them playing.
What stands out for you most when it comes to Tynagh-Abbey Duniry?
Well, I think they're balanced really. They're very balanced. They have the maturity in the sense you see the likes of Paul Killian and Pádraig Breheny and Shane Maloney. These guys, they're around a while and they've played at all grades for Galway, won minor All Irelands. These guys, Johnny Connery is going very well, and the younger lads now are beginning to come shine, like young Maloney and John Conroy up front and John Dervin. They're all beginning to kind of come good. Early on they might have been, but now they're kind of coming good, and all of a sudden you have them. The team as unit is playing well.
It's a great point you touched on there with Killeen, Breheny, and Maloney. Like the experience they have, they've obviously been involved on Galway panels at senior level in All Ireland finals, but obviously played minor finals as well. The experience that they'll bring to the younger players on the team on an occasion like this heading into Sunday is vital.
Yeah, yeah, it's big. Killeen was very unlucky a few years ago, got injured and playing for Galway. So did Shane Maloney. Pádraig Breheny is a lad that's kind of finding form again. Great up. Paul is always good at bringing people in to the play and kind of maybe at times maybe passing it too much. But lately now he's beginning to shoot himself and he's very, very good. He's starting corner. Okay, number 11 might be on his back, but he'll start corner forward. And a lot of these teams, the cornerbacks mightn't be the best player they have. Now, the only thing is that Watergrass, he'll have studied the Tynagh-Abbey thing. They'll say, oh, hold on a minute now. This guy that's number 11 and he's playing corner forward. He needs special attention. Shane Maloney is playing out midfield and they're getting he's a very good hurler, a very good striker. Maybe his real pace is gone, but he's beginning to pick off scores from outside. And Paul Killian is a kind of a go. He's kind of the goal man that if anywhere they're in trouble, he goes in there very, very good in the air. And Michal Power is probably a fella that down the road will play for Galway. Like, he's a young fella, very, very strong, very aggressive kind of a player. Was a big loss last year when he got injured. Is injury prone with hamstring, but like, I suppose who isn't? But they're kind of up the middle for these guys, and they are playing well, and the rest are following suit. Like, when these guys kind of lead, the others follow suit. Crow Park, people saying to us, suit them, I think it will. They've played there before. A lot of these guys have played at underage level. I don't know about Watergrasshill. Like, to me, their centre back is very good and the centre forward is very good. Forwards, would you believe, from Watergrasshill, Paul, look a bit better than the backs, which is unusual. Like, their main power is in the forwards rather than the backs, which might suit Tynagh actually.
When we're talking on the podcast leading up to the All Ireland semi final, we had Angus Callanan on, and he was talking about Matty Kenny and how much he'd stand to Tynagh-Abbey Duniry on a week like that. Obviously, he's been through this with Kula, so he knows it. But it's a point that I probably can't reiterate enough, that like Matty Kenny's experience when he's been through this an All Ireland series with Kula, it's vital.
It's a big plus. Like, and he's been through before at club and at county level, been through it all. So Liam Hodgins has played at all levels. Tom Breheny would have been involved at all levels as well. Kevin Devine, top goalie at all levels as well. Like, and the power man, they have a nice setup. Anyone that's in Tynagh-Abbey Duniry, I've met, he has them all roped in. There's a big backroom squad all helping, doing their bit and helping. Like, and it's, as you know, when you start winning, Paul, the whole thing gathers momentum, and like, there'll be flags. Like, there'll be no one left in Tynagh-Abbey Duniry for this weekend. They'll be all going. But it's great to be getting, for club players to be getting to Crow Park, and the big thing like this is, like, everyone can get in. There'll be no one stuck for tickets. Like, you'll have a couple of thousand lad. It can be a lonely enough spot for a player. If I'd always say to the players in Crow Park, you have to go to the ball. Don't wait for it to come, because there is a vacuum, especially if it isn't packed. There's a kind of vacuum in the stadium. So you're better to move to the ball first rather than wait for it to come, because if you're waiting, it might never come.
On their opponents, Watergrasshill this weekend, what are you expecting them to bring?
Oh, like they're typical Cork hurlers. If you give them room to dance, Paul, they'll dance. They look very good up front. Murphy up front, free taker, very good from play. Desmond full forward, very, very good as well. Lehan and Leary, the two corners, they're good players. Now they've lost one very good player. He'd probably playing in the senior final,
Yeah.
for Sarsfield, but that'll happen. Cronin and Spriggs midfield, they're worked like, but midfield, Paul, will be a kind of a minefield, because you're going to find a terrible lot out there. But I suppose Foley in goals is a good keeper. He's a good club keeper. Their main lad in the backs is Dario O'Leary, a centre back. He's the one that kind of mops up and kind of tidies up, especially as the game goes on. They wouldn't want to let him dominate. But as I say, Paul, their biggest threat is up front. If they get enough ball up front, it'll cause trouble. But I expect the Tynagh Force to be a lot letting the backs get on top of them, like, and like the Watergrasshill backs aren't as good as people might think.
On Watergrasshill, one player you mentioned there, Darragh O'Leary, he's obviously previously been part of the Cork panel. Pat Ryan came out over the last few days and said he's not actually involved at the minute. He's up working as a guard in Kildare. But uh, Darragh O'Leary is a player that this Watergrasshill team tried to build their play around.
Yeah, well, like, it was only this year since they got Eddie Enright in. Eddie Enright used to play for a good bit for Turles Sarsfield, himself and his brother. Good coach. Got him this year and they started winning. Like, up to that part, they weren't winning anything. Might have been
Mm.
there, kind of, the way kind of a club becoming, and some of the top clubs be trying to poach the good young lads from them. That happens everywhere. Happens in Galway too. Not nice to see it happen, but it does happen, and it weakens the home club now. There's a bit of there's great competition at the moment in Watergrasshill and Sarsfield. Is like, I know they'll all want one another to win, but like, if they lose, there'll be no one losing any sleep either, because there's a great, how would you say, that there's great tension between the two clubs at the moment, with good lads being transferred into the top clubs. And to me, a fella should be with his own club, but like, that's for another day.
On this, what sort of game are you expecting on Sunday?
Oh, I think it'll be an open game. Team Abbey will play open. They'll go for broke early on. They've been used to getting on top, kind of, and being going in at half time, kind of in a good position. Now, the last day against Turin, they were down 3 or 4 at half time. They weren't picking up. They had so many backs back. They weren't picking up fellas at all. But second half, had a powerful second half. It was hard to judge the last day. against Wexford in the sense that like they were on top. Now they had 15-14 for the first half, hard enough to work it. They were three up going in and having the extra man for the second half, say, coming with a breeze, and then they had an extra man, it was 15-13. So the zip went out of the game altogether. You know, Ratnew kind of went home saying to themselves, "Oh, they're down two, we did okay," but it was hard for Tina to learn anything from it. But they won. All they could do was to beat what's in front of them. And once they had that, how the way to win the All Ireland final, and I'd say they're just hoping at this stage, Paul, that to be ready for Sunday because they're geared for Sunday. It can be tough if the game's put back a week. You know, kind of upset. Doesn't it upset you? But you have everything kind of geared for a certain hour, half to hit the pitch run and take control for that hour, maybe 70 minutes. But that could all go away the wayside if this weather continues, even though the forecast now seems to be saying it should be all right for Sunday.
In one sense, hasn't that nearly helped them over the Christmas? The semi-finals played before Christmas, and maybe they didn't have the Christmas they would have had previous years, but I'm sure they won't care on Sunday if they've sacrificed all this for an All-Ireland title.
Yeah, sure, look, they can have a great night, they can have a great weekend or a great few weeks if they win that All Ireland. There's no doubt they will, like, and they deserve that. And look, you'll have Christmas every year with the help of God. Like, if you're alive, but you won't be in All Ireland final every year. You might think you are, but you won't be. But like, Tina already are in a position that they want to be in. They're up senior. That was the big thing for them. They don't want to be back intermediate again because, like, they would have felt all along, and most foreign people around the East Coast would feel like this team shouldn't be down intermediate. They're too good. Like, they're good enough for senior. I think they'll hold their own up there. So like they they're out of where they didn't want to be, and they're in where they want to be now. Like so, they're looking forward to next year already. They have a lovely block of work done already. Whichever whatever happens on Sunday, they're ready for next year already. Like and they'd say they can't wait for the start.
It's interesting when the players have talked about this intermediate and the journey they went on. They've talked about not wanting to be in this competition again, so it's already showing the mindset of the group.
Yes, it is, Paul, because they got a downer last year. They were very disappointed last year to be beaten by a good Ballindrine team. Like, and they knew they were going to be good because they drew in a league match and 50. I think Teen had 15 against 14 for a bit of that. Like, but you know, any to win any title in Galway, it doesn't matter what it is. If there's grade X, it's still hard to win. And sure, it's good to hear the players, especially the senior players, saying we don't want to be down there again. That's not for us. Like, that's what you want to hear. That shows a bit of maturity, which I think, which will be a big help as well to them on Sunday.
It's safe to say it hasn't been a easy journey either for this management and the team, like because straight away since they've come to intermediate, the expectation has been enormous.
Yeah, the expectations have been enormous, and then when Magic came back and put the whole management team together, that put more pressure on them. Like in the sense that he was expected to win straight away, and they kind of floated through the campaign 2 years ago, and then got when I say got caught, were beaten by a better team. Was at the match in Bandislow, and it was touch and go. But Ballyreen have a nice team, and they were lucky against Turin because they lost the full back in the first few minutes, to upset their whole team. But like, just shows you like you can't take anything for granted. They were more cautious this year. They didn't go into the hard training early on. They took every game by game by game. And you could say when it was won, it was a great win for it. It was more relief than anything in the sense that
Mm.
now we're back up and now we can enjoy ourselves. So they drove on from that and they won their Connacht title since, they won All Ireland semi-finals since then. Paul, they're in a great position for Sunday because from what I hear, all the players are available, which is a big plus. There's no injuries.
What do you think an All Ireland title could do for Tynagh-Abbey Duniry and Galway hurling?
Oh, like it's great. Look at it. Not too many win it. Like it's hard to win because like you're down a good bit. You know, a lot of other teams, like the other counties where they're structured, they call it like what would you say, Premier Intermediate. Like
Yeah.
and the better kind of say standard at times. But like Old Moore did it, but they were ready. But Tina can do it too because they're ready as well. Tina Abbey are kind of just kind of an intermediate team coming overnight. They're there a good while. Would have felt that they shouldn't have been there no more. Nor more Marie with kind of big numbers like Old More Marie, like say came up like and just this year gone, Paul. They were very unlucky. Like a minute to go, they were leading the group, and then when a minute got into injury time, they were bottom of the group. Just shows you how tight. It's very little in God, Paul, between qualifying for a preliminary quarter final or relegation final. There's only a puck of a ball somewhere along the line, and it can be a lucky point here or a missed goal there, but it all adds up and in. Like, and Ardmore were just caught this year. Like to me, they are a common club, and they will be a common team. There's no doubt about that with the numbers they have and the work they're doing.
Just on this game, before we do move on, obviously we've talked about Watergrasshill, that they're obviously going to be a huge challenge this weekend. But on it, like we talked about Darragh O'Leary and a couple of the Watergrasshill forwards there. Do you see Tina planning for any matchups in this one
No,
specifically?
I don't think that, yeah, well, okay, like they're going to watch Adam Murphy up front centre, like forward. Like Matty Kinney always kind of covers his full back line. He's probably going to keep doing the same thing again. But he'll only want them to play the way they're playing because they're playing well enough. Like, and like they'll try to get moving straight away. But like as I say, like all the Cork teams, like they're usually very risky, Paul. But also if you give them room, they'll kind of manoeuvre around you. They love to give like Tynagh-Abbey Duniry can't afford to stand off. They can't afford to be 6 inches behind. If anything, they have to be 6 inches in front all the time, no matter where the ball is. Because if you let them have the ball first, even if they don't take you on, they're going to tap it back. They'll be good enough to glide away from you if they have the ball. The big thing is,
Does that cover prove more difficult with the way Tina are setting up in a place like Croke Park?
yeah, it does, yeah, but they're used to it. They're at it all year, and I can't imagine Kenny has done it with Cola, he's done it with Galway, he's done it with Dublin. I can't see him doing anything different because that's his
Hmm.
DNA. He likes to cover back. He'll crowd the middle. There'll be lad coming back like Corey Brendy be rod now near the middle of the field. John Dervin be out there as well. That means Paul Killen has gone back. Nearly as a double centre back along with Bihal Power. That's the way it worked in the kind of final. Like so, they're playing with a man short up front, but with Porrick Brendy playing very well, and like with the boys inside going, they're scoring from outside. They're used to. They have that game plan now or that system. I can't see them changing. It'll be the wrong time to change going into a final. They won't change. No, no, they'll be the same.
By the sounds of it, you're expecting Tina to get over the line this weekend?
Yeah, everyone is telling me that Watergrasshill are great. Now I know they look very good, impressive against Cashel, but like you have to kind of judge how good were Cashel or what's the standard like in tip. You see, like mightn't be as good as people think, but like Cashel were kind of highly fancied and they were blown out the gate. Now, if they show that kind of form, but the last day against Kerry Fox from Antrim, like didn't show anything extra. I still feel that Tina are improving that little bit every day, and even the last day, like the lads got a lad or two sent off. It wasn't a dirty match, but in kind of a year you get the breaks along the way. I felt that they were probably going to win it anyway, but they got them breaks, and if they get even a 50-50 break on Sunday, I'd expect them to come home victorious.
We've talked about the obviously Matty standing out and he's been through this in a couple of the Tynagh-Abbey Duniry players as well. There's a lot of players and even people involved in the management that like Noel and Galway will begrudge them an All-Ireland medal that they've earned their craft that they deserve an All-Ireland title.
Ah, yeah, they'd be a popular team. You know what I mean? They'd be popular. Like Abbey Duniry a few years ago went to a replay against Athenry when Athenry at their pomp. Their own did very well. Tina and their own have won say intermediates and under 21s and way back have won seniors as well. Like, but like they'd be a popular team and they'd have a big follow and say all East Galway would be behind them. You know what I mean? While there might be terrible rivalry close by when they go outside the county, you follow your own. Like that's the way it is. Like and. They're popular fellas. You know what I mean? The guys even over them, like like Hodgie would have trained a lot of the teams and trained teams in Mayo. Would have been around the block a good bit. Kevin Devine, very good goalkeeper, very knowledgeable, kind of about back play. These guys know their stuff. Tom Brahney, like, would probably know every hurler in Galway. Great judge of a hurler. These lads kind of know their stuff. They won't be carried away. Don't worry them, like and like I'd say they can't wait. They can't wait for Sunday to come. I just hope the weather doesn't upset them because it can often upset you if things put back like it upsets the whole apple cart. But I think everything will be all right.
Yeah, it should be. Imagine with the game being in Croke Park for Everton to hopefully uh, go ahead this weekend. On it, Cyril, I think it was just after the Christmas there, Galway obviously held open hurling training session back in Spittle. Micheál Donoghue with his new squad, still quite a large number of players in there, over 50 players still in there at the minute. But from what you're initially hearing or seeing so far, obviously it's still very early in the year, but what have you made so far of the?
I think it was a very good idea to go out to the clubs and back to Spittle. A great idea to kind of PR the thing because for a while there seemed to be kind of a no connect or disconnect between the supporters and the team. We need supporters behind the team again, and like we need a bit of energy on the team, which I think will come now. 55, he's a lot of players, and he has to sift through them and to do the best. And already he's played a match last Saturday, and then already last Sunday the match had to be called off. The only thing I find is this time of the year you're judging fellas, and like really, Paul, there should be no hurling really this time of the year. Now I know Tina are going to play, and we'd all if we were there we'd be playing as well. But you just look at it's like asking a skier to ski in the middle of summer. You know what I mean? It's completely wrong. I was at the match last Saturday between Galway and Offaly. Now, the forwards on both sides were doing well to keep their hands warm. It's a backs kind of play, they can ruffle it and kick it out the stand, but forward trying to get his touch right, get the ball right, like both sets of forwards. Like, so you're judging someone on winter. Like it's hard. I know the lads have to do that, but like it's hard for a fella. Might get a game, might get 2 games, and as you say, 54 or 5 in there. So there's probably going to be 20 drop. Now maybe they put on a development panel. I don't know what the system they're going to use is like, but it's not as easy as people think. Like you have the pieces, but to put the pieces together, but you'll only really know how the pieces are going when you get down to a panel of 32 or 3. Like 55 is a lot. There's a few that's not in there. Very surprised that 1 or 2 lads are, but like it's early in the season, that could all change. It's funny what can happen, Paul, when you're trying to get on the panel. You could be half injured and not playing, and the guys that are playing to get on could be playing themselves off, and the fella that isn't there at all could be playing himself on by not being there. It's a kind of it's a hard call on the sectors really, because it's kind of a judgment call really.
On that Galway Offaly challenge, anyone new standing out for you?
And I see, you'd have to say, I delight to see Shane Cooney playing centre back. As the game went on, he got better and better and have to devise 2 wing backs. He's still a good player. I talk Fahy midfield, like from Ardran. To me, he was very good. Like to me, he looks a real leader. And the young lad from Moore, I'm trying to think of his name. What's he?
Rory Burke? Is it?
No, not the Bucks. No, is it Hannafy or?
Jeremy Hannafy, is it?
Number 11, he played well, quite well. You know what I mean? They were like no one did anything wrong. It was like Offaly now, Paul, would have most of their team.
Yeah.
Whereas Galway, they had young Murphy cornerback, lovely hurler, be beat light for that kind of yes. The wedge lad from Ardran, fullback, strong man, give you everything left and top. Was it Trayers from Turlock, one wing back, the other wing back was from Pierce's. But as I said, Fahy midfield played very, very well. You'd have to say that. But like Offaly were on top the first half, but as the game went on, Galway got on top the second half. I don't know who actually won the match. Indeed, it didn't matter. I think Galway won by a point or two, but just show you, like Offaly have Johnny Kelly has what he has. He knows what he has, and he's working on that. Whereas at the moment, Mihal has so many, he can't just work. Like you don't know who's going to be full back or centre back, or the call hasn't been made yet. Like so a lot of work to do. But like they're in a tough league, Paul. Like that, there's top teams are in it, and probably when I say the weakest team, I don't mean that in a bad way, but like the team that had been more like ourselves or Tip start to kind of finding new lads again, whereas everyone else are more or less settled.
Did you see anyone in attack? That
They all looked okay in attack. Young Lohan was good in the air, did a lot of hard work. Young Collins, lovely little forward. Jamie Ryan, good to see him back again. But it was hard to shine in the attack, with the weather conditions. Now it was cold and like it was freezing. Actually, now the pitch is in great condition. Have a lovely. You'd have to say that the faithful feels like this. It's a great training. It's a great training position to be in. There loads of room, loads of pitches, gyms, saunas, the whole lot. Talking to Michael Duggan there, he had done a powerful job, and he was actually introducing Tom Parlin, the new chairman, to the various management teams, say over under 20s and over under 17s. And Tom was just getting new to the thing, and I was caught him. I said, "What's your first job?" He said, "The first job," he said, "I have to do is to raise 2 million for the year." I said, "No problems, it likes you. You're all right."
just on it, it's a great point you made about the supporters because there's no point to trying to beat around the bush. Last year at Galway Hurling Championship games, the support was quite low to what we would expect as the Leinster Championship goes on. Micheál was talking on Galway Bay with Sean Walsh out in that training day out in Spittle, and he was saying that they want to bring the supporters on this journey. He obviously sees this as something that's hugely valuable if you can get the Galway support behind you.
Yeah, you see, Paul, he has the advantage of, like, to be fair, he's involved the whole time. When he left Galway, he was gone to Dublin, like he was back with Dublin. So he has been involved the whole time, and he has seen the Galway support kind of probably waning off to what he had been used to, and what his father before him would have been used to. That kind of way. We'd call them in the olden days, we're all kind of, there was a big following, regardless of how we were playing. It's important to get that back again. Now, I see the rugby teams are great at the PR, winning or losing, the go on the positive, and it's all going to the crowd. You know what I mean? We're not inclined to do that. I think we need to do it just to get the people back on track. Look, there's plenty of there's plenty of great supporters in Galway, only mad to go, but you kind of have to reawaken them again and maybe give them something to go for. And I think Micheál, like he started on the right foot even by going back to Connemara and showing the team off there, like whatever lads were there. But I just hope he keeps doing that. Not night here or there, it does no harm at all and builds up support, which you need really. And I think the lads need it as well, like, because you have to give Micheál and his manager team that bit of time. I think they'll go well. They have to give the team a bit of time too. Like, to me now, they should definitely qualify, even as number 3 in Leinster. That's the least I'd be expecting of them as the year goes on.
They're obviously preparing for the league now, and it's a 17 league this year. So, as you mentioned, it's there's going to be no easy game this year in Division One compared to previous years where you might have been able to experiment. But do you still see them experimenting throughout the league?
They'll have to a little bit anyway, like, but he'll have to settle. He'll have to settle on up the middle who he has and who he's going to use. And a lot of that's. I hope Pádraig Manning is back, or Cathal Manning is back injury free. Like, he's a big loss last year. He hasn't been fully right. Brilliant player. Pádraig Manning, come on, another brilliant player. Like, these guys, they might be wrong, but they're very, very good hurlers. If you can incorporate them into a team and make them kind of, willing to spread how would you say, their knowledge with the younger lads and kind of give the younger lads the kind of push on which they need. This thing could turn overnight. If Galway got on a run, Paul, nothing might stop them. They could come
Mhm.
overnight to that because we have the hurlers.
On this, obviously, the league will start soon. What do you think their target will be throughout the league?
I'd say they'd be hoping to stay up. That's the main thing. Like, stay up in division and have their team ready. At least no 14 of them coming from the league, which they should, because like it is a good league. There's no place to pussyfoot around. Now it can be a hard league in the six if you're putting on too many young lads together, but it's still a great league. Once they should know their team coming out of the league because it's a good league. Like,
This should probably solve the league too, you'd imagine, because with the 6 team league and just the way it was structured, there was maybe something missing with the league. But when every team's going to have a competitive game, like the league should go up a notch, you'd imagine this
oh,
year.
it will, yeah. There's no doubt about that. Like, if you go down to Nolan Park, I don't know what the way home. Say you're playing Kilkenny, you ain't going to get nothing soft down against Kilkenny. You go down to Cork, Park of Kiev, like, game nothing soft. You go up to Clare, up to Innis. No, that to me kind of Innis or Galway is much for muchness because Galway rise to Clare, but like, and it doesn't matter what way the form is, they rise to another. I wouldn't worry about that. You know what I mean? But like, there's no. With all due respect, there's no soft team. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Before there was, like, and like, let's face facts, Paul, as well in Leinster. Like, there are soft teams now. They might improve, but like, we should be well capable of taking most of the Leinster teams. Like, once we get our shop in order.
There's been a lot of, I suppose, debate recently. We're seeing a large amount of challenge matches. Galway obviously had a charity fundraiser there for a challenge match, which didn't take place against Laois at the weekend. Do you think it makes sense to get rid of the World Cup when we're seeing all these friendlies happening?
Well, you see, the GPA, Paul, are gone very strong, and they were saying people need a break or need to be rested. But sure, like, what rest are you going to get? Like, the Micheál Dunno and all the Micheál Dunn's have to go around there getting challenge games. At least the Welsh Cup or that, or the Watergrasshill was a ref organised, a proper referee, umpires, pitch, everything was ready. Now, there might be only a couple of hundred at the match, but they were competitive and there were matches you could try out, lads. Now, you're doing that, like, in trying to get challenge games, and like with Galway having 55, they're probably looking for 2 challenge games every weekend, but it takes away from that. And like, the lads that are in college, Paul, like, they're still going to be playing Fitzgibbon, or if they're kicking football, they're going to play in Silverstone. So like, they're all saying this split season works. I don't think it works at all, because like, we have 3 or 4 months in the summer, best time of the year for hurling, and there's not a ball being poked. Like, it's just, to me, it doesn't add up. Or maybe if they flicked it around the other way, have the county on this time, but still it isn't right. Like, why give the 3 months off during the summer? Like, sure, God Almighty, there's no one playing hurling when it should be playing. Croke Park is filled with people singing songs, lovely, but that was never built for that. Like, so they want to have like, the hierarchy in Croke Park was saying it's perfect. I don't to come down the country. There's no one saying it's perfect. You know, and like, even this weekend coming, last weekend the games are off. It could be off again this weekend. There's a fog around here today, Paul, where I'm from Woodford, and you'd play, like, even if it's so, like, yeah, you play no hurling because you can't see the ball.
It doesn't really feel like you learn a lot about a player Like
No.
even you're talking there about the cold conditions up against Galway and Offaly, it just, I'm sure if you're a manager now, like you'd even find it hard to judge
Yeah,
much on any player.
it's hard. Like you're doing well to keep yourself warm. Like as I say to someone today, like it's like saying to a skier, bring them out a mountain in summertime when there's no snow until you ski there now. Like hurling was not meant for this time of the year. Simple as that. You get away with rugby, you might get away with a bit of football as well, at least the ball is big, but not hurling. The ball going a mile an hour, spinning around the place, like it's not meant for that. Like it's hurling is meant for summer. And now all we have is lawnmowers cutting the pitches in lovely condition and no one on them. So to me, they should be looking ahead again closely. I know that it's hard to look ahead, but like we changed a lot very sudden, and like all of a sudden we're going to wind up. We're losing the best time of the year. We're losing the PR completely. No minor game before a senior game. No build up to the senior game. People just coming in the last minute. So like, if you have a county, even a minor team in the All Ireland final before, the schools are back, the kids are back at school, the buses run up, the flags, that's all gone. Like, sure, they're playing now on a Wednesday evening, might get 6 lines the following day in the paper. Maybe if it's late Saturday evening, gets no line at all, the under 20s. Like, so, the PR thing is we're losing out and we're kind of assuming everyone's going to keep hurling. Now, the diehards will, but like there's a lot of young lads and they're being enticed away because there's no hurling on when it should be on.
On this time of the year when you were manager in January yourself, would this be a time of year where you challenge players, or how would you regard it January
Ah,
this
yeah,
time?
we used to have 2 games for Christmas and up November, December. It wouldn't start again until February. But like it were only league games. They were like the real hurling.
Yeah.
We didn't start the real training until the end of May. Now you were back in training doing a bit, but not the real stuff. Like we'd only have one game, preliminary quarter final against All Ireland B winners. Now everyone said it was an easy match, but it wasn't that easy because like you'd have Antrim or Westmeath or someone coming through and like they'd have won 5 games, added their All Ireland one. And then you'd be playing them expected to win by, if you won by 30 points, they were no good. If you won by 4, you were no good. But if 1 point, do you? But the real training only started for the championship. And then you were playing either the Munster or Leinster winners, and we do blocks of 3 weeks at a time. 2 or 3 days off, another block of 3 weeks. No, that'd be considered cruelty to people now, like, but that's the way we're working. Like, you were assuming, now, I know it was a big assumption, but we were always assuming that we were going to be playing in September. So the training was geared for the summer and for September. So that's the way it was. Like, and we were kind of, within reason, we were there or thereabouts. Took a while to build a team. We were there or thereabouts. Like, but we had the training after fine art. We kind of watched the dates every year. We closely monitor and see could we improve it, and but yeah, the training it wouldn't be sophisticated as it is now, but I can guarantee you one thing: it was just as hard.
Would there be a couple of players that would love that sort of training?
Yeah, not nice and that and right. You'll be coming up that little hill there in the green grass, and the players would not see where they're going, Paul. Stars. Now, not every night, but not like maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks to be a real hard session, non-stop for 70 minutes, moving, all running. And they'd come up that hill that night and they wouldn't be able to talk or they would be able to walk barely, but to be stars in their eyes. They wouldn't eat much after training that night, I'll tell you. They'd drink about nothing. Like, that was the way it was geared. Like, you had to get everything right in the training pitch. If you were beaten by a point, you were gone till the following year. So it was a tough. I'd love to be around now, like you guys, like that, and any team you get a great chance now. Like God Almighty, like you're playing and you can go back after losing, you get a chance. But that time you got a chance, or I won. Gone if you're and the same like Tip of the great team at times they're Kilkenny if they're caught. Remember one year Tip were caught by Waterford was they were going for 3 or 4 in a row, beating the point first day out, gone for the year. Like that's the way it was. Like so if you were caught, it was a long year around. You had to wait 12 months again. Best part of it anyway.
Who would you say was the toughest trainer?
I would have been the toughest trainer.
The toughest trainer, like from all the players that you would have managed, who really just stood out for you all the time?
Actually you'd be pushing the whole time, like, but you'd have certain guys like, you know, Tony Keady, Lartimerson, very hard to get him fully tuned in. He'd be trying to trick you the whole time. You know what I mean? He'd be all the time trying to dodge if he could. He was that kind of a character. Like Michael Coleman, great with his stuff, smoked like a trooper, could never get them off, but it never affected his training or his hurling. But if you like, he smoked, like, if you know what I mean, he would, even after training, like if a big match, he'd have a cigarette inside the shower. He was able to dodge the shower have the shower and steal a cigarette, go like that. They're kind of characters, but like they'd never funk the training. Like the training could be hard. You might have not like getting sick now and again, but if you got sick, you just rolled over, join in again. That's the way it was, like But no, that was there were funny times, but sure, there were great times. It was really like.
Absolutely. Uh, and just on sir, before we finish, obviously Fitzgibbon Cup starting up next week.
Yeah,
It's obviously, I presume it's something that the Galway management are going to place huge emphasis because when you look on it all over the college, not just ATU Galway and University of Galway, if you look down to Limerick, if you look across all the colleges, there's a huge amount of Galway involvement involved in this year's Fitzgibbon Cup.
yeah, it's great competition. Doesn't go on for 12 hours. Great competition, I suppose. Unless Paul, as you know, unless there's 5 feet of snow, 1 foot of snow, Fitzgibbon to be played. That's the way it is. You'd have great county lads, and even in my own time in Galway in UCG, that time it was known. You were mixing with other county fellas, and you begin to realise, like, was there any difference between a Kilkenny lad and a Cork lad and a Tip lad and yourself from Galway? And you begin to realise, like, should they only have a pair of wrists, have a brain, when you put on the Galway, say, the UCG jersey, they were the same as us. And yet when they put on the Kilkenny jerseys, I would say they look different. So it got you to mix, and I think it really helped Galway in the college scene, in the sense that you're mixing with all these fellas. I remember the Fitzgibbon team I was looking up to be on. You had Niall McInerney, great hurler, on the county team at the time. You had Tom Cloonan, full-back, great player, tough. The other cornerback was Pat Fleury, went on to captain Offaly. Joe McDonough was wing back. Paddy Leahy was the other wing back. Who else was on it? Joe Connolly was captain. Like a fella, Kieran Brennan from Kilkenny. Like, we had all kind of fellas scattered everywhere. Hugh Dunner from Cork. All fellas that would have played underage for the counties. And you'd learn a lot from it, in the sense that you say, hey, there's nothing to stop us. If they can win, we can win.
Yeah, I'm just looking here. So if we're just looking at the UL team. So there's actually a bit of involvement from Galway in the UL team this year. You have Anthony Keady from Moore
Yeah.
Mary, you have Dermot Hannafy, you have Derek Fahey, and you have Sean O'Hanlon, all involved with UL this year.
Yeah, you see, and it'll do them good, because UL will have about 30 more county players. They'll have to fight to get on, but they will, like, it'll do their hurling good. And I'm sure Micheál and the boys would love to see them hurling further. And sure, like, Galway will have a lot to, but there'll be a lot of Galway that popping up here and there. The only thing is, what can happen though this time of the year, Paul, is the lads training for Fitzgibbon will be flat out. That's their All Ireland. And at times, we call it the lad that's kind of, say, coming from the club scene, mightn't be as fit as the college fella. But as the year goes on, then the club lad will catch up on the college lad. This time of the year, the college lad should be in front, because you'll find they were in training camps over the Christmas. They'd be doing, any good college team would be training away, regardless of what rules there. They'd have them in training away, and they would be ahead of the posse for a while.
Yeah, on that Group 1 in the Fitzgibbon, UL, Mary Setu Waterford, and ATU Galway. It's safe to say ATU Galway have been drawn into that group of death.
Yeah, they've been in the group of death. Now, they've had good teams all along. It's not the pins, Paul, that work to put in, but definitely that's a hard group. But like, you know, if Fitzgibbon is a great leveler, you'd have lads there, and they wouldn't might know who they're on.
Even just looking here at the ATU Galway panel here for the Fitzgibbon Cup, quite a large proportion of there's 35 on the panel, 31 are from Galway on
Yeah,
the ATU Galway panel. It's safe to say they have one man in particular that definitely stand out at Fitzgibbon Cup this year, Kevin Cooney.
yeah, he's been there with them for a while. Yeah, he's a good player. He'd be hoping to get. He was very unlucky. Was it this time last year? Remember, he got an injury later in the year against Wexford in a Welsh Cup final. Was kind of gone. It's only now he's back. Yeah, that's you'll have lads popping up all over the place, and it's the same. Like, you go to play. We say someone like Maynooth mightn't be as strong as others, but you go to play them, you'll find they'll have some very good hurdles. You just don't know where a fella will come out of, and they'll be all very well. They'll be all very well coached, very well trained, and well turned out. And for that Fitzgibbon, for them matches, there'll be no quarter. Like, it'll be tough. It'll be tough. You won't win it easy anyway.
Yeah, on that ATU Galway team, you have players like John Cooney, Kevin Cooney, Conor Cosgrove from Ardrahan, Rory
Yeah.
Burke from More and More Mary, Dylan Dunn from Clarenbridge, Darren Shaughnessy from Loughrea. They're just some of the names to mention on that ATU Go team.
You get a lovely team over there, and I'm sure you go to NUIG, like you'll have as many so-called stars as well on it. Like they're all the big thing about these. Most of these lads are starting their careers, like so like they'll be looking forward to the hurling, and you'll find they'll if they're asked, they'll hurl for Fitzgibbon because it's a very good competition, but it'll be played fairly fast. Don't last too long.
Yeah, ATU Galway begin their campaign at home on Wednesday against Mary I, who do have a goal involvement in that Mary I team as well. Fio McDonough from Mike Cullen, who was on the panel last year.
Yeah,
Declan McLaughlin from Portumna, who's been fit this year now. He missed last year, obviously, with that thumb injury he picked up against Westmeath. And Owen Lawless is down there now
yeah,
doing his PME. So they're some of the Galway representatives on the Mary I team this year. So that's next Wednesday. Interesting with University of Galway, Frank Lohan's taken over there now
Jeffrey.
from Jeffrey. Some
Whereas
of the
Yeah, we see Paul Lester. Frank was with him. Like Frank would know
yeah,
the inside out, like which is a big plus. I think Colin Flynn. There's a few more lads with him there. Lester probably tied up again, but Frank like would be good. He'd know the scene. It's a big plus to have been there for a year or two before he marches on because he's going to know them inside out now.
yeah, even just from looking at some of the Galway representatives, Darren Eary, Dermot Daverin, Gavin Lee, Craig Thomas, Ian McGlynn, Joshua Ryan, Kieran Hanrahan, Liam Collins, Liam Lean, Mark Gill, Mark Hardyman, Matthew Terpry, Niall Collins, Phelan McCann, Ruben Devitt, Tiernan Killeen and Tiernan Lean.
Yeah, all good. So they're nearly all on. Not of them. Nearly all of them are on the Galway panel. Say 55 now. The many make the final shake up. But look at there's plenty of hurlers in Galway, but it's like a jigsaw. It's to put the pieces together is the hard bit. Really, you have to decide who you're going to play up the middle. What's your half back line going to be, and what then you have to kind of devise a plan to suit the players. But like that'll all come in its own time once you get training. As I always say, like if you get the best 26 to 30 lads into that and right training, the team will only pick itself. Once you have the best lads in.
Throw Charlie Mitchell and Dan Burke into that University of Galway team as well.
Yeah, Charlie's kind of going through a post at the moment. Like he's not playing as well as he was. But like Dan Burke is really athlete. I saw the two of them last weekend. The other good players. Like they're good and they'll hurl Fitzgibbon.
So in University of Galway's group, it's UCD, UCC, in that group of group two of the Fitzgibbon there. So they'll be coming up against and MTU Cork as well. They're in the four-team group. But compared to previous years, UCC obviously will be strong, but even the other two teams, the draw probably has been favourable in one sense to University of Galway this year.
That has, yeah, they should qualify out that to be expected. They'll be very disappointed if they don't. And even the last few years they've been kind of unlucky really, they've had good stuff and not to win. But it's hard to win, they're not easy but like as I say, like Frank will have a big plus like that. He knows them inside out and he'll have a strong team. He'll have a strong panel, Paul, because he'll know them top 20 there they'll be all inter-county hurlers.
Yeah, UCD in their group as well. Michael Walsh from Ardrahan, as you mentioned, involved in the Galway panel, and David Lee from Clarenbridge with UCD as well.
Yeah, the UCD may not be as strong as NUIG or UCD now. Like lately, they're not getting as many like from down the country as before. And with all the kind of we call them the new universities open, a lot of say the Carlows, the Midlands aren't going as far as UCD where they would be before. They're hitting Carlow, they're hitting Thurles, the LIT unit in Thurles. See, all these have so many courses now, Paul. Even older lads going back. There's 1,001 courses. There's nearly a course for every kind of whatever you put name on it yourself. So there's something for them all to study and to get the game of hurling as well.
On it, University of Galway are really desperate to get that Fitzgibbon Cup, being really unlucky in the last few years. Mary I and UL are probably the big
Yeah,
two again.
there's the big two again, yeah, but you will want to have to nearly win it every year. But I have a feeling that Brian Lohan, or when I say Brian Frank this year, the feeling he could win it because they were very, very near last year, very, very unlucky. and I think they're due a break, and it can happen. Fella kind of just takes over from say as an understudy. Things can you can be lucky. If he's going to do it, I think it's going to be this year for Frank Lohan because having been involved, he wouldn't bother unless he thought it was a good team. There is a good team, and there's no doubt about that.
It is competition that should really be valued though when you look across the board. Even like you're looking at the Mary I team, you have Shane O'Brien and Adam English there, and you look at the UL team, Carl O'Neill, Colin Coughlin, Adam English, and these
Yeah,
fellas.
yeah, we played him in first year. O'Neill, Cochran, all them lads, and played him in a league match with LIT. They beat us about 40 points. But we met them in the championship at the first round anyway. They beat us 3 or 4. Same team, but different mindset. But like they were very good hurlers, and O'Brien and these lads, Cochran, you'd pick them out, like O'Neill, these lads are good, they're good hurlers, big physical men, but very, very good hurlers, and they've proved it afterwards. They were mad. They're only first year at that time, and they're still in college. But you see, like they can stay on and do a lot of little extra things now. Like if they're not ready for work, they can stay on and with another year down in college. It can be a great life once you're able to fly through the exams.
So that is the Fitzgibbon Cup beginning next Wednesday, January 15th. Again, best of luck to Tynagh-Abbey Duniry this weekend. And the league obviously just around the corner now for the Galway Senior Hurlers at the end of January. But that's all we do have time for this evening. Thanks a million to Cyril for coming on.